Damn.
Okay, I'm Tom Druce. I've just been appointed Athletics Development Officer working for the Guernsey Island Amateur Athletics Club.
So give us a bit of background to your role as an athlete within athletics.
Yeah, well, I started when I was back in school. Quickly during my teens sort of developed into sort of national standard, got to some national finals and things like that. And eventually as a senior sort of took all of the Island sprint records, 60 metres right through to, I got a 600 metre record as well. And specialised in the 400 metres, so got to travel around competing around Europe and things like that, and went to 2 Commonwealth Games as well.
What's been your highlight as an athlete to date?
Highlight as an athlete, probably the Orland Island Games. Just was in great form at that point. It's the first time I ran it 46 seconds for 400 metres, and I also took the 800 metre title as well, and it was just a great games. Orland put on a fantastic spectacle there, and I think we all really enjoyed it. That's probably the highlight of my career. But I probably would highlight a mention of my PB run in Italy as well, where I ran 46.3 seconds, which is still the island record, and that's my best race I've ever done, so I'd have to put that up there as well.
In your new post, what's your role going to include?
Well, it's all sorts of stuff for me to tackle. So obviously we're looking at the performance element, which is something that we've recognised that we maybe need to work on a little bit compared to the last sort of couple of years. We've maybe focused a lot on our participation element of the club, which is incredibly strong. So it's something we're very proud of. But we're going to look to improve the performance element, specifically coach development we're looking at, because that'll obviously feed in to the performance of our athletes, and that includes everyone from the top down to the younger kids who we're sort of earmarking for bigger things in the future.
What do you see the greatest challenges to be in the forthcoming months and years ahead for the club?
Well, it is very challenging to try and to get elite performance coming out of a fairly small sort of pot of athletes. We've been really fortunate and maybe a little bit spoiled throughout the early 2000s. We had the likes of Dale Garland, Lee Merrion, Kylie Robiliers and myself, and a few others knocking on the door of national and international standards. So we've been quite spoiled, and that sort of maybe comes to the end a little bit now. Hopefully Kylie and Lee can certainly maintain the standard a little bit for themselves, but there's been injury struggles and things like that. So I think it's quite a big challenge to try and create an environment where those sort of performances can continue to happen. And so that's sort of the first thing that I've been sort of tasked with looking at, putting structures in place to try and make that happen.
Brilliant. What do you think the existing strengths of the club are in terms of coaches and facilities and other things?
Well, as we can see here, we've got a great facility at Foots Lane. I mean, it's up there with a lot of the big clubs in the UK in terms of what they can offer their athletes. And for sort of clubs of our size in the UK, I'd say probably very, very few of them would have a facility like this, like Foots Lane, especially with the new high performance gym that we've got down here as well. Everyone's got no excuse really in terms of the training that they can put in. The only thing that we are maybe lacking is some sort of indoor facility where we can do sort of drills and more technical work that you can't get done in the gym because of the confines of the equipment and the space and things like that. That's probably the only thing that we could have any sort of complaint about. But in terms of strengths of the club, I mean, as I touched on earlier, participation rates are very high. We continually set new targets in terms of membership, but we're smashing through those sort of year after year, so we're pretty much near capacity of what we can manage, which is great, and hopefully gives us the pool of numbers that can then lead to sort of more talent development later on. So that's certainly something that I'm going to be looking to maintain, of course, but hopefully there's not too much to change there. It's more keep doing what we're doing on that side of things, really.
So within your role, are the participants of the club and the regular members going to see any difference in what sort of opportunities are provided?
That will be the plan long term. I mean, currently just sort of having a look at what's going on at the moment, what structures are in place, and drawing some of my own conclusions about what I like and maybe some things that I would like to play with a little bit. So hopefully over time, yeah, absolutely, everyone from our secondary school age certainly upwards should notice a difference in what the training they're receiving, and like you said, the opportunities available. I think it's very important that the opportunities are there, but also at the right level for everyone who's got the opportunity to go and compete. There's no point in us sending 11 and 12-year-olds over to the UK to compete in quite big competitions if they're genuinely not ready. So we want to be able to prepare them with offering them the right level of competition on the island first, and then if certain people show signs and ambitions to go on and do bigger and better things during their teens, going into late teens, then that's something that we want to offer them. And of course that's also a very important age group for keeping them in the sport. So that's another thing that I've been tasked with, is putting things in place to make sure that they're stimulated and they want to keep in the sport and in athletics, because it is a bit of a problem around that sort of 16, 17 age group, and maybe a bit earlier as well, to keep them involved and keep them motivated.
So in terms of what the club offers, if you were to promote the club to new members, can you summarise what sort of opportunities are available?
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, it's a great sport to do in terms of general health and fitness to begin with. Obviously, it's quite a fundamental sport in terms of certainly the running element, even jumping and throwing as well. It's very good skills that your child or the child themselves can learn in the early years, and then, as you say, the opportunities that come along. I mean, I always say there's a lot of people who are very keen on football and rugby, of course, and they're great sports that are getting stronger and stronger on the island. But in terms of the level that you can get to, it's very, very difficult to make it to an elite level in, say, football. You've probably seen Brett Pittman in Jersey of late, who's managed to do it from Jersey and got into professional football. Probably not been anyone else for a long, long time. So I'd always point to that in the terms that we've had, Lee Merrill went to the Olympics, so the last Olympics, and Dale Garland went to the Olympics before that, and other people have been pretty close, and got to travel and be very successful at the sport. So that is the ultimate opportunity which we have, and it's very realistic to make it to that level. So if we can dangle that carrot in front of people, but also offer the fun element and the fundamental health and fitness element at an earlier point as well, hopefully that's quite an attractive package for people.
And if people want to find out more about the club online or elsewhere, where can they find that information?
Well, they can go to our website, which is www.guernseyathletics.org.gg, or they can contact myself directly. My email address is tom.druce@guernseyathletics.org.gg.